It's good, right? That answers the question, do you need to actually use the screw for the blade retention? Episode 4 did have the original Graflex piece, so you can see Graflex.
Welcome to the Saber Factory.
Hello there. I'm Kevin, you're in the monthly digest of January of the saberfactory.com. Welcome. In this video, we will do, it's basically going to be a special video around the new Graflex lightsabers. The original replica from episode 4 and the one from episode 5 and 7 of Luke's / Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. This is a major update in the lineup. It's never been as screen accurate as you can find it here today. It's already available. We're gonna go in depth. We're gonna have a look at those. Well, it's basically the same base, but then some elements change which make the difference in design between episode 4 and episode 5, but that's basically the same base, which is a Graflex flash tube, if you didn't know. We'll also touch base on a quick review of the new Skeleton Crew lightsaber that is also already available on the saberfactory.com, and we'll have a quick preview of what's to come next month, as we will add one of those lightsabers to the catalog next month. It's called the Ronin, and it's amazing, comes with a flat blade, it's crazy good. And something that I will also question you to see if you're interested are those NeoPixel EcoPixel Nunchuks. That'll be at the end of the video. It's just a preview of what's to come. In this video, we're going to stay 90% of the video around the Graflex and a little bit on the Skeleton Crew Saber. Quickly, I've got some news, as always, in those digests. Just know that we are right now ending multiple offers, so you might still have a chance to catch one of those. One is the USA RTS, the ready-to-ship inventory that we're clearing. We're changing warehouses, so we're clearing the stock, and we still have some Balen Skull and Luke Skywalker lightsabers available, and it's a buy one, get one free. So buy a Balen Skull, get a Luke, just those are the two lightsabers left in the inventory. So go right on the website and go and get it. It's only for US customers ordering the ready-to-ship inventory only. We also have an offer that is about to stop, which is due to the factory shutdown. Holiday is almost over in China, the New Year's holiday, and we are about to reopen factory and processing orders. So the factory shutdown, automatic 10% off everything, is about to end. You still have time to catch something at 10% off. So again, right opportunity might be right now as I publish this video. That's it for the news. I didn't have anything else to say, so we can dive into those Graflex sabers. So, in front of me, I have two different Graflex sabers. So a little bit of context for those who are not necessarily experts in lightsabers. The original prop for what would be in the original trilogy Luke's lightsaber, given to him by Obi-Wan Kenobi, as it was his father's lightsaber, was built by the set decorator at the time in 76, Roger Christian. And he designed this lightsaber using what is called, so it was this one, episode 4, using what is called a Graflex flash gun or flash tube, which is basically this tube part here with a clamp on which you would insert the bulb for the flash, and you would connect it to your camera, and it would basically be what holds and controls the flash on very old cameras back then. So those the Graflex, the brand, as you can see here, the Graflex was the one used for Luke's saber, and like for instance, Darth Vader's saber was built using another flash tube of another brand, which is called MPP. And so this is why we call this a Graflex. There is a community of people trying to replicate those sabers as best they can. Some of them going as far as buying original Graflex tubes, which now have a price range of easily above $1,000, $1,500 for an old tube. So there is also a whole, I would say, market of people trying to replicate as best as possible those flash tubes. If you wanted to get the most screen accurate Graflex sabers possible, you would either go for those replicas, and a replica would cost you easily $700-800. So to get an all-in-one, it's quite a budget. If you want something that's good on both sides of the spectrum, the replica visually and the electronics. And up until now, what we had with Nexus was I like to remind people that whether it be Nexus LGT, TXQ, those are sort of mass-producing sabers, but they are still a very small companies, in the sense that it's just a few dozen people working in the CNC department for machining the hilts, working in soldering every component together, assembling the sabers and shipping. So they're trying to industrialize the process because there is a lot of demand, but at the same time, it's still a handmade thing. So they sit a little bit in between, and when you're trying to industrialize something, to have every little detail right for something where people can really nitpick on it, it's really hard. And I hope that through this video, you can admit with me, even if you're a diehard fan of the Graflex, that they've done incredibly well. Absolutely amazing work for something that is to be, quote, mass-produced, okay? Let me show you the Graflex that we used to have before. So this was, up until this week, the Graflex that you could find on our catalog, and you will immediately see the difference. So this is the episode 5, so I'm just going to compare those two together. What you will see is, first, it used to be very shiny, basically chrome plated. I could go into details, but I suppose it was because, well, when they started, they didn't have many different finishes, and like having a different production line for a different finish, well, you need money and you need to make volumes. So they sort of needed to grow the business and wait for the market to be a little more mature to be able to provide different finishes. And a lot of sabers from the prequels were very, brand new looking like this. So I guess they went with this look for a long time. And now they do this brushing. So if you want to have a better look, which gives a much more screen accurate look. Yeah, and so that's already the main difference. Now, if we compare the two side by side, gotta make some space, you will start to notice much more differences. First, the biggest difference to me is the whole Graflex system is based on a clamp. Here you have something that mimics the clamp. So this is what basically holds the two parts of the saber. And this is just a screw. And the problem is that when you want to lock it, it doesn't really necessarily lock where you would want it to lock, like here. It locks here. Already, this is a little con that you have to deal with, and you're like, okay. Here, it's an actual clamp. So it doesn't turn, it stays in position, and it actually clamps quite strongly, actually. And when you release it, you do have an actual, so watch out for the card, you do have an actual J-lock system where you can separate the parts like you would with the actual Graflex part. So that already in itself is not only screen accurate, but technically accurate to how the Graflex works. Of course, it's a good opportunity to look at the core. You have an additional sleeve because the Graflex proportions make it quite a big saber, so you have an additional sleeve. And your slide out core with a kill switch, you turn it on and let's go. So easy to access, like most sabers nowadays. And you simply align your groove together and then you slide to the side, and when it's at the end of it, you just clamp, making sure the card is in there properly. Remember that the card, if it ever feels a little loose, you can always, so you would have to warm it up a little bit. You can always bend it slightly. Never like, don't try to break it, you know, but you can bend it slightly. And when you bend it a little bit like that, it's gonna create some resistance and it will help it to stay inside of this and not slide too easily. So that already is a great improvement, whereas before it used to be like a fake control box and with the button inside. So of course the button here on the Saber is located at the top here. We'll see that in a second. Before it used to basically thread the two parts together and that was it. Okay, now in terms of screen accuracy, I'll give you again a little bit more time to look. It is more screen accurate in pretty much everything. Yes, there is a little difference in the beer tab. There's a little difference in the red button. Of course, we've talked about the Graflex, the proportions in itself a little bit changed. There is a whole debate about the rivets here. To try and give you some context, I know it's one of the most lively debates because those props, they were made, multiple sabers were made for shooting because you never know what's going to happen with one prop, and then you got one damage and then you need another one for at another location, whatever. And there were not one saber looking exactly like the other, because at the time it's not like they were building them from scratch, they were assembling parts. And sometimes, like in Empire Strikes Back, apparently during the Hoth scenes, the snow made it that the strips would not glue properly and fall off, so they used some screws. And only when they did the 4K remaster of the movies, people started noticing that some shots, they had black screws, or maybe it was just a light matter, maybe it was silver screws, and maybe it was rivets. But when they presented the prop, they presented it with rivets. When Master Replica did this saber, even though Master Replica screen accuracy is vastly debated again, they did it with rivets. And so when The Force Awakens was released, people noticed that they used rivets. So here on this Episode 5 and 7 replica, you will find rivets because it is screen accurate with the original props, the Master Replica, and the Force Awakens Saber. So that's how they solved the debate. Again, so that's to say that a lot went into the, all that thinking and designing process. The bulb clamp here is an actual, it's an actual clamp. It does work. Now, will you actually hold your blade with this? Yes and no. It will just hold a little bit for a little bit of movement, but it might disconnect from the NeoPixel connector. So there is the actual screen accurate flathead screw here that you can use to hold your blade. It replaces the standard hex screw that we have usually for retention because this is more screen accurate. So details again. I'm going to use a small blade to insert your blade. You pinch here, release the screw before, and insert. Release the clamp. So you see, it like the blade's not gonna fall off due to the clamp, but it's not going to work in a dueling situation. So even with your fingers, I believe that just your fingers could be enough to just keep the blade on. Honestly, kind of works. We'll test that during the video, and then if the blade disconnects, I'll use a screwdriver. The button is here. During the demo, let me give you some information. Both sabers, whether it be episode 4 or episode 5, they both weigh 725 grams. So it's a bit heavy, but it's what it takes to make a good replica. So the hilt itself with electronics, 725 grams. Price at launch, again, I always give the price at launch only when I make the video, is $319 for baselit, $349 US dollars for NeoPixel. You would have a hard time finding better NeoPixel price on the market because that's where I try to pretty much beat everyone. It's very important to me that people get access to the best technology, the most easy to use and the most fun at the best price. So go ahead and check it, thesaberfactory.com. It's already there, and now let's go for a little demo. Turn it on. Okay, so Moonfield is funny, but the Chosen is better. Looks good, right? It really looks good. So here I have the usual Xeno 3 that most people order. Of course, I will absolutely recommend that you get the Profi version. Hear me out. This piece looks so good that I would feel that even if you never really use it with the blade and it's more of a shelf thing, the day you want to use it, you want to enjoy the fact that this has got electronics inside and it can do stuff and it can look the part. Take a Profi Saber. Even if you're not an IT person, you really don't want to go and customize your Saber, it's not your thing. The Profi still comes with dozens of presets and it can still look super cool without you having anything to do with it. It will still have smooth swing and all, and it will just look the part. You won't regret it. Taking a baselit for this doesn't make sense for me, but then to each their own. Xeno 3 is very capable, but if you can go a little, like put a little more budget to it, go with the Profi board because you won't regret it. Just look at the price, look at everything it's got, and look at how it is. Again, I'll give you more time to look at it when we compare the two together, when we look at the differences. This looks amazing. And to be fair, I do have hundreds of lightsabers here, and when you deal with lightsabers on a daily basis, it's your job, it's my job. I don't have any lightsabers at home anymore. I used to have one on my wall underneath my TV, like acting as a lamp and design thing. Now I don't, because I have hundreds of lightsabers, what I do on a daily basis, so why would I have one at home? Every day I come here, I'm surrounded by hundreds of lightsabers. This is just what you see, but you should see what I see here, you know? And it's like, when I had my store before, 300 square meters of geek merchandise, figures, collectibles, mugs, t-shirts, keychains and whatever, and posters. Did I need to have collectibles at home? No. because I would spend 9 hours a day for 6 hours, six days a week at my workplace where I had all this. So I didn't need anything at home. Still, this is absolutely gonna be somewhere in my living room. This really looks like the saber I wanted when I was a kid. Anecdotes aside, you know the drill with Xeno 3. You have smooth swing, you have accent swings. That answers the question, do you need to actually use the screw for the blade retention? Yes. So, yeah, I definitely recommend to give this a little bit of a turn right there. Okay. So again, Xeno 3, every board basically that we have, even Profi, you will have smooth swing. So it really sounds like a lightsaber. Really reacts to every one of your smallest to biggest moves. So flash on clash, you can set the sensitivity in the app. And of course, you know that you can switch sound fonts.
New Horizon.
You can change colors freely. So much you can do. You can customize the saber through the app to even create your own controls and say, I don't want to be bothered with this button doing this. I don't want to be bothered with motion controls. I don't want to be bothered with all of this user manual that I don't want to learn. I just want the saber to turn on, to turn off, to change color when I do that. And that's it. And you can do that. So it's very customizable with Xeno 3. Of course, if you're a little more, let's say, expert in customizing config files and using an SDK, you can go and take a Profi board. Again, I do recommend the Profi board for this. So yeah, pinch and remove the blade. So now, quickly, the differences between episode 4 and episode 5. The clamp section, episode 4 is the bubble strip, and episode 5 is this PCB part here, again, that has been made more screen accurate. You know, you can see the difference. Also, episode 4 did have the original Graflex piece, so you can see Graflex engraved on it. Episode 5 didn't, so here you have it without. Small differences like that. The saber in itself is way more screen accurate as it was before. Painted black here, the little golden pins are more realistic now. The flash eye also way better. And for the episode 5, you also have a spare button that you can insert here. It's very easily replaceable. So yeah, and that will come with your saber, and so of course the difference also in the strips that you can see that those are the episode 4 strips with the set of sort of like little rivets style screws here, and episode 5 is different, and it's got the strips like the T-strips with the rivets here inside. So that's the little details that make those sabers a little closer to, let's say, the consensus on what the Graflex looks like in those different episodes. So that is the major update on the Graflex saber. It's already on the website. Like I said, the starting price is $319 for the baselit version, $349 USD for the NeoPixel. It is the launch price. Depending on how good they sell, again, launch prices tend to change over time. The more it's a success, the more the launch price tends to stay the same, because it means we can afford to kind of discount it. So I hope that you will find these as attractive as I find them, because I'm really stunned to see the difference, the crazy difference between those two sabers. Oh, and by the way, one last element that I wanted to discuss, and I forgot, and I just remember now, is the position of the Graflex clamp here is it's actually going to ship being assembled correctly, because in episode 4 it's on the left side, in episode 5 it's on the right side. But this, of course, you might have seen when I disassembled it, I switched it inadvertently, but I switched it because you can reassemble it in any position that you want. This is my position right now, but I can turn it around and now there it is. So yes, do not worry. I know this is a comment that I've had multiple times in the past. How could, like, the box is not on the right side? I need shims, like timing shims, to make sure that things align properly. With this system, you don't need timing shims, and you can switch the side of it. So yeah, that was the Graflex Saber. And now I just want to jump very quickly on this new Saber from the Skeleton Crew show, that for once I thought this was a really good show, and it's just a nice heartfelt story, you know, with kids. I find it was nice. I liked it. I liked Jude Law in it. I like the kids, and I kind of like to have a little lightsaber in it, and it gives us a new prop. Look at us, how miserable we are. So yeah, this is the prop. It also has a spare button that is a crystal bead, like a red transparent crystal bead, so you can switch the buttons. And yeah, so again, this is the button. This is your saber. It's a nice combination of those brass, copper, and silver tones. Slide out core. And yeah, so that is, I'm not going to demo again a Xeno 3, and again, you know that you can browse the channel and find all sorts of tutorials and demos of a Xeno 3 or Profi Saber. So yeah, I just wanted to show you the hilt, give you a little bit of a look. It comes with its own blade plug, so that's nice. When you do see, that's a question I got recently, when you do see on the picture of the Saber a specific blade plug, it means this is the blade plug that is officially meaning to be shipped with the hilt. So that's the one you're gonna get. If there are no pictures of a blade plug, it means that you may get one as part of the freebies that some Sabers do have, and you have that in the what's in the box section on each Saber page. But it's going to be a random blade plug. This is the one that comes with this Saber. So yeah, so that's it. That is the Skeleton Crew Saber. It's already on the saberfactory.com. Quick info, it's 470 grams, so it might be a little bit heavy. Nothing like this, 725, 470. But it's a long hilt also. It's 29.5 centimeters, almost 30 centimeters. So it's well balanced, and you see it doesn't have too many greeblies of things protruding, so it's actually good in hand. It comes with its Covetech wheel, so yeah, it's actually a really nice saber to hold. It's not too heavy. You could technically duel with this. I like how it feels in hand, so, and the price is not too bad, because launch price as we make this video is 209 USD. So some could consider this for their cosplay, for a dueling saber. It's quite nice. It's versatile. There you go, the Skeleton Crew. And now I just want to give you a little preview of next month's video. We're going to talk about one saber that's gonna be added to the catalog in the next few days or week, which is the Ronin. And let me show you. And it comes with a dark saber like flat blade. So funny thing, this time it is a classic round NeoPixel connector. So you can put this in, or you can use a normal blade. So we'll have two versions on the website, one when you can have this blade, and one, so it's going to be a little pricier, and one with a standard blade. My recommendation, if you can afford, is to take this one for the looks of it, and to buy a spare blade if you don't already have one. It will be NeoPixel only. It looks dope. I will show you an in-depth today. We'll just have a review later. I didn't want to spoil this video about the Graflex. The pricing is going to be around the low to mid $400 US for this saber, depending on the blade. And this for less than $100. This is not something that I'm still decided, and I want you to tell me if you think it's a good idea to add it to the catalog. It's Nunchuks with fixed blades, EcoPixel, meaning it doesn't have sound. Let me show you. It's got two little buttons and it's got no sound. Those are mini NeoPixel blades, and it's just got blaster deflection effects when you push the buttons, and that's it. No flash on clash. It's got 3 different blade modes. It's got color change, and that's it. It's very basic, but because it's got a much smaller battery, and so interesting. I'm not gonna make a demo because I really am no good with nunchucks. I could literally kill myself. But of course, you buy this because you're going to use it, because you're actually going to use this like an expert. So you want this to be resistant. Yeah, so it's a question for those who know how to use these things. If you feel that it would be a good idea, if it would be strong enough, if it would be fun, if it would match your price criteria slightly under, I'd say right below the 100 USD mark. Yeah, and then I'll do some thorough testing, and we will, in the next in-depth video, we'll look at it together, we will disassemble it together, and I might even try to break it. I don't know, like, honestly, to break it in my studio without breaking something, I don't know if I can do that, but we'll try to see where the, again, where the breaking point is. You know that now I like to break things a little bit to show you how far you can go with it. So, yeah. Leave your comments, let me know. Yeah, I'll also do some social posts about this to sort of, like, get your opinion on it, because I want to know if it's something you would be interested in. So yeah, there it is. This is our digest. I hope that I was thorough enough with the Graflex. I hope that the images that I showed you are good enough to kind of give you an impression of, you know, how it looks. Of course, putting side by side with the original props, with some replicas that we know, etc., to give you an idea of how good this looks and how close Nexus has come to making this the best replica for the money. And it's not a limited edition. You know, some will sell it to you for $1,000, limited edition. There you go. And the price has not changed, because Nexus is basically improving their factory and their processes, and they're able now to make better sabers, better looking sabers, without making, you know, those prices go sky high. So I'm able to maintain my prices, and that's what I do. So the price has not changed. So there it is. Don't forget, our offers are ending right now as we speak. Just might just be a couple days left, or 1 day left. I don't know when I'm going to post this video. So go on the saberfactory.com and enjoy the last minutes of those offers. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to every one of my channels. TikTok, we're growing on TikTok also, and Instagram. And I'll see you in the next video. May the force be with you.
Join me, leave a like and subscribe to this channel.